This is the real mystery of Baalbek, how these stones came to be there, why they were placed there, and specifically how they were transported into place.
In the fertile Beqaa Valley of eastern Lebanon, a place better known for vineyards and farmland than unanswered questions, stands one of the most unsettling archaeological sites on Earth. From a distance, Baalbek appears familiar. Towering Roman columns rise against the sky, remnants of imperial ambition and classical architecture. But this surface impression is misleading. What makes Baalbek extraordinary is not what stands above ground, but what lies beneath it. Under the Roman temples is a foundation that does not fit the Roman world, or any other known ancient world. At the heart of this mystery are three colossal stone blocks embedded side by side in the platform beneath the Temple of Jupiter. Archaeologists call them the Trilithon. Each block measures roughly 19 meters long, 4 meters high, and 3.5 meters deep. Each weighs approximately 800 tons. That is heavier than a fully loaded commercial jet aircraft. These stones are not roughly stacked or unevenly placed. They are precision cut, aligned with extreme accuracy, and fitted together so tightly that even today a sheet of paper cannot be slipped between them. There is no mortar, no filler, no margin for error. The Romans built extraordinary structures across their empire, but their largest confirmed building stones weigh around 50 tons. Even the most ambitious Roman cranes and lifting systems fall orders of magnitude short of what would be required to move, position, and align stones of this size. No Roman texts describe such an operation, no Roman quarry sites show comparable extraction, and no Roman construction elsewhere approaches this scale. Yet the Romans built their grandest temple directly on top of this platform, treating it as a pre-existing foundation. Half a kilometer away, the mystery deepens. Carved into the limestone hillside is the quarry where these megaliths originated. Several massive stones remain partially extracted, abandoned where ancient workers left them. The most famous is known as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, weighing an estimated 1,000 tons. In 2014, archaeologists uncovered an even larger block nearby, still embedded in bedrock, weighing approximately 1,650 tons. These stones were not abandoned because of cracks or flaws. They are structurally sound. The quarry itself shows no signs of destruction from earthquakes or flooding. Work simply stopped. Tools were set down. The project was never finished. That raises a question with no comfortable answer. If the builders were capable of extracting and placing 800-ton stones with millimeter precision, why were these even larger stones left behind? And why was a stone of 1,600 tons being cut at all, when no structure at Baalbek or anywhere else in the ancient world could possibly require it? For centuries, the default explanation was simple. The Romans built Baalbek. End of discussion. That explanation persisted not because it solved the problem, but because rejecting it created a far greater one. If the Romans did not build the foundation, then someone else did. Someone with capabilities that do not appear anywhere in the historical record. Early doubts emerged quietly. In the 1920s, French archaeologist Pierre Montet noted that the Trilithon blocks lacked features typical of Roman construction. There were no Lewis holes, the distinctive lifting sockets Romans carved into stones to attach cranes. No pivot marks, no scaffolding scars. The stones appeared to have been placed in a single continuous operation using methods that left no recognizable archaeological signature. Local traditions added another layer. Long before modern archaeology arrived, families living near Baalbek told stories of a city older than Rome, built by beings of immense strength. Biblical texts reference the Beqaa Valley and speak of the Rephaim, a race of giants associated with ancient Canaan. While such accounts are often dismissed as myth, their persistence over thousands of years suggests they may preserve distorted memories of something real. By the mid-20th century, engineers began examining Baalbek not as historians, but as physicists. Their calculations were blunt. Using known ancient technologies, wooden rollers, ropes made from natural fibers, ramps, levers and pulleys, the forces required to move an 800-ton block exceeded material limits. Ropes would snap, rollers would crush, ramps would collapse under their own weight. One analysis estimated that more than 40,000 people pulling in perfect synchronization would be required to move a single stone, assuming ideal conditions that never exist in reality. The math did not work. Tool marks introduced further complications. While some quarry cuts matched bronze and iron tools, others displayed irregularity and surface finish inconsistent with hand chiseling. Certain sections appeared polished or abraded with a consistency that would require sustained friction and heat, something manual tools cannot reliably generate over large areas. Weathering patterns added another anomaly. Geological analysis suggested that the Trilithon stones had been exposed to environmental erosion for significantly longer than the Roman structures above them. While stone dating is imprecise, the discrepancy was large enough to imply the foundation could be thousands of years older than the temple. Alignment studies raised still more questions. Baalbek sits at approximately 34 degrees north latitude. The platform aligns with the rising sun at the spring equinox. Similar alignments appear at Giza, Angkor, and other megalithic sites across the globe, built by cultures that are not believed to have shared knowledge or contact. For decades, these inconsistencies fueled debate, but produced no resolution. What was missing was comprehensive, high-resolution data. That changed in 2019. The Lebanese Directorate General of Antiquities, in partnership with the German Archaeological Institute, launched the most technologically advanced survey Baalbek had ever undergone. The project employed LiDAR scanning, ground-penetrating radar, high-resolution photogrammetry, and three-dimensional modeling. Every surface of the Trilithon, the quarry, and the unfinished stones was captured down to sub-millimeter detail. The resulting dataset was vast. Terabytes of information describing every cut, surface, and contact point. This data was then analyzed using machine learning systems trained on hundreds of ancient construction sites around the world. The algorithms were designed to recognize tool signatures, construction methods, and material behaviors across different cultures and time periods. The results were deeply unsettling. The AI identified multiple distinct tool signatures in the Baalbek quarry. Some matched known Roman-era tools. Others did not match anything in the training database. Certain cuts exhibited mechanical regularity beyond what hand tools could plausibly achieve. In several areas, the limestone's crystalline structure showed signs of thermal alteration consistent with high-friction cutting or polishing at the molecular level. The analysis of the Trilithon blocks themselves was even more striking. The contact surfaces between stones deviated from perfect flatness by less than half a millimeter across areas spanning several square meters. Modern construction achieves such tolerances using laser-guided equipment and computer-controlled machining. No ancient technology is known to produce this level of precision at such scale. The research team then attempted to answer the central question directly. How were the stones moved? Using physics-based simulations, they modeled every known ancient transport method. Wooden rollers, sledges, ramps, levers, pulley systems, counterweights. They tested manpower levels far beyond historical plausibility, running thousands of simulations under increasingly generous assumptions. Every simulation failed. Under realistic constraints, the stones could not be moved. Either the materials failed, the manpower exceeded regional population limits, or the infrastructure required became absurdly impractical. Even with hypothetical enhancements slightly beyond documented Roman technology, the outcome did not change. One engineer involved in the project summarized the result bluntly. The simulations were built to show how it was done. Instead, they showed it could not be done. The AI then widened its scope. Data from more than 40 megalithic sites worldwide was analyzed for deeper patterns: geometry, stone mass selection, alignment, erosion, and construction logic. Sites included Giza, Pumapunku, Göbekli Tepe, Stonehenge, Karnak, and submerged structures off the coast of Japan. The correlations were statistically significant. Megalithic sites clustered around specific latitudes, particularly 30 degrees north, 34 degrees north, and the equator, positions favorable for precise solar and celestial observations. Baalbek, the Great Pyramid, and the Temple Mount all share similar latitudinal placement. Stone sizes repeatedly exceeded structural necessity. Builders chose massive blocks where smaller ones would have sufficed, suggesting that scale itself was intentional. Certain angles appeared again and again: Earth's axial tilt, the slope of the Great Pyramid, and other geometries linked to natural constants. The repetition suggested a shared geometric framework rather than independent coincidence. Most controversial were the AI's age estimates. Based on erosion, chemical weathering, and surface degradation, portions of several sites returned, probability clusters far older than accepted timelines. Göbekli Tepe appeared potentially older than its already astonishing date of 9,600 BCE. The Sphinx showed signatures consistent with prolonged water erosion from a wetter climate that last existed at the end of the Ice Age. And Baalbek's Trilithon returned a median estimate around 9,400 years old. That would place its construction before writing, before agriculture in the Fertile Crescent, before any recognized civilization capable of monumental architecture. A darker pattern emerged when these dates were compared with paleoclimate data. Megalithic construction surges appeared to precede major periods of global disruption. Göbekli Tepe aligns with the end of the Younger Dryas. Giza may precede rapid sea level rise. Pumapunku thrived before prolonged Andean drought. Each peak of monumental building was followed by collapse, abandonment, and cultural loss. Researchers began referring to this quietly as the Baalbek pattern: cycles of extraordinary capability followed by disappearance. What happened to the knowledge? Technologies do not usually vanish without trace. They leave tools, texts, traditions. At Baalbek, the knowledge did not fade gradually. It stopped abruptly. The quarry fell silent, mid-cut. No later culture in the region ever demonstrated comparable capabilities again. One explanation is catastrophe. Around the end of the last ice age, global climate shifted violently. Sea levels rose, ecosystems collapsed. Societies dependent on stable environments would have fractured rapidly. Monumental projects would be abandoned overnight in favor of survival. Another possibility is more unsettling: that the builders recognized limits, that they understood the cost of pushing scale, resource extraction, and social coordination beyond sustainable thresholds, and chose to stop. Today, Baalbek exists in uneasy contrast with the modern world around it. The stones endure while contemporary infrastructure struggles. Children play in the shadow of blocks heavier than aircraft. Life continues around monuments that outlasted every empire that claimed them. The stones do not explain themselves. They do not argue. They simply remain. Perhaps the most disturbing implication of the AI analysis is not that ancient people were more advanced than we thought, but that human history may be cyclical. That knowledge can rise, vanish, and be forgotten so completely that later civilizations build on its remains without understanding them. Baalbek does not just challenge timelines. It challenges assumptions about progress itself. And the question it leaves behind is not how the stones were moved, or even who moved them. It is why humanity keeps forgetting what it was once capable of.